Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you guys a build that I have been playing. It's called Righteous Fire. Well, that's the skill that I'm using, Righteous Fire. First I'm just going to show you some gameplay, and then maybe later on I guess during the gameplay, during this, I'll show you guys how the build works, and then afterwards I will definitely show you my gear. Now this is not my build. I basically got this build from another player on YouTube. His name is Pox or something. You just have to search for Righteous Fire um, and Righteous Fire PoE, and basically he's like probably the first guy that shows up, or the first video that shows up. And I played this build before, but it was with a different person. It was with like a witch elementalist or something, if I remember correctly, and it did fairly well, but it wasn't as good as this one. This one was more tankier than the other one, a lot more tankier, and I was actually able to get to higher levels than normal. So that's what I really like about this build. It's fairly tanky. And so far, so good. I'm just gonna keep playing, showing you guys what this build's all about. But the whole point is, you use Righteous Fire, and it creates a ring of fire around you. So whatever stands in your way, whatever stands in the way, basically dies. So you see, you have this ring right here, and every time enemies walk in, they basically start to burn fire damage. And next thing you know, they're pretty much dead. Even if they have fire resistance, it's still pretty brutal. Like right now, my fire damage is around 205k per second. As you can see, most of these melt. Most of these enemies melt. This is on a tier 9 map. So that's how strong it is. I haven't done I think I've done tier 11. I don't know if I've done tier 12 yet, but I might do that later after this map. But so far, it's been fairly easy. I mean, there might be a couple incidences where I die. It's because I get overconfident and I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna die. And I just start picking up loot before killing the enemy. Highly recommend killing the enemies first before trying to pick up loot. Because last time I did that, it cost me 10% of experience, and that just delayed my leveling a bit. So that was a painful way to do things, because it took me another hour or so to get my experience back, my XP. But so far, this build has been very easy to play. As you can see, I'm barely doing anything. I'm just walking around. It's equivalent to those other builds you see called Path of Walking. Usually during the boss battles, I might use some skills. For instance, I use the Val version of Righteous Fire because it performs even more damage. It's even stronger. Let's see. So let's go back to town. Then I can showcase you my equipment, skills. So basically, I'm not following completely what the person on YouTube is doing because I don't actually have everything he does. I'm just working off what I technically have. But basically, the person would six link my fire traps, right? But my fire traps is up here because, whoops, I got this back. Because I technically don't have the helmet that he has. The helmet that he has provides like an additional support gem. I forget which one it was. I think it was burning damage or something. It has like an additional support gem which creates more fire or burning damage. So I ended up having to do a sick link in my body armor. So how I do it is basically, of course, my main skill is Righteous Fire, Light Tap, or let me go through. So Righteous Fire, burning damage, of course, because you're actually igniting your enemies and burning them in a sense. Concentrated effect is a no-brainer. It makes your area of damage, area of effect. So this Righteous Fire circle will be even smaller. Like if I were to take this, you see how it changed, and then when you put this on, it just makes it smaller, but it does more area damage. It does more damage in that area. And then Swift, uh, Swift Affliction. This one does more damage over time. It increases your skills to do more damage over time. Now, it makes sense because this does damage over time. It does fire damage. It does damage over time. So it increases more. This is not, this one isn't, it doesn't have the quality increase yet because I started this build like probably a week ago. And once it gets to level 20, I'm going to make it a level 20 gym, a quality level 20 quality gym. And then we'll see maybe, I mean, the damage output definitely increase. Elemental focus, this is also a no-brainer. It's supposed to increase, you know, elemental damage. And then the last thing is life tap. This actually is this portion. So it helps with damage over time. Yeah. Right. Yeah, it's supposed to help with more damage. So it makes this even more stronger. Now these are not fully maxed yet. Once it's fully maxed, um, I believe the possibility is to increase this to 1 million damage per second. And I don't know if I'm gonna get there because I don't have the whole gear that the other player has. Um, let's see. So for the fire traps, I use fire trap. I use trap and mine support damage, controlled destruction because well, this is technically a spell, so it does more damage, spell damage. The next one is again elemental focus because it does elemental damage. Let's see what else, and then for your gear, typically what you want is you want anything that gives you like more health. This one, I probably need to upgrade this ring. This ring, I probably need to upgrade it because it doesn't increase my health. That's something I need to work on. This one increases my health, but the only problem is it doesn't give me like spell damage, increased spell damage. Like if there was a gem that, I mean, a necklace that gives me health and spell increased damage, it would be a no-brainer to have. But it also needs all those resistance. So this one again, get a shield that gives you a lot of how should I say it? Health. You need a lot of health and armor because again, this build is really strictly based off of a lot of defenses. So if you look at my defenses here, it's like 83% armor rating, estimated physical damage rating, and there's also a little bit of block chance. What else does it have? Lots of regeneration. Some pretty good evasion, but overall this build is strictly. I feel like this one's a lot better than the previous one that I created. You can probably find it on my channel somewhere where I had some kind of witch Ring of Fire build, which was pretty fun, but it wasn't as tanky as this build. What else? So yeah, just look for gear that has a lot of health, resistance, health, and spell damage. So you also want to keep in mind that you want to increase your health as much as possible, because your righteous fire is dependent on your righteous fire damage is really dependent on your health. So it burns 90% of your maximum health per second as fire damage. So basically you're taking like this is 90% of this is pretty strong. But anyways, oh yeah, my weapon, again, I don't have every, like I'm just using this because it has really good elemental damage and a lot of increase in elemental damage. Like I don't really care about anything else because all the other ones don't really help out with this build. So looking at the elemental damage, increased by 32, and then the 86 at the bottom, this is very helpful, increasing my build's damage. But other than that, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'll definitely post more videos as I continue going. I believe this is the build where I am going to actually get to level 100. The highest I got to was like 94, and that was with like a cyclone build. I think a duelist cyclone, but it was very difficult because you always have to get up front. Well, I'm not saying that you don't have to get up front with this build, but typically that one was, it was very, it almost felt like a glass cannon. You can run into enemies and then you just flat out die. This one, not so much. You can definitely run into enemies, but there's a fair amount. There's like a small chance that you might not. Oh, I should probably go over the auras. So some of the auras that I have is basically Malevolence. I think that's how you say it. So this thing increases damage over time. So again, this is very helpful with your fire damage. It does damage over time, so it increases. And determination, again, this helps with like the armor, right? You see how this thing is up by a lot? Parity of fire, this adds maximum fire damage resistance. Again, you need a lot of resistance because when you do righteous fire, you're actually dealing damage to yourself as well as your enemies. So again, you need a lot of resistance. What else? What else was there? There was also purity of elements. That can probably rerun once this thing is like level 3 or 4. Because right now I cannot run all these auras. And then this one, gosh, what does this thing do? Oh, yeah, this thing, it's supposed to be another layer of defense. Where is it? Yeah, increase armor and evasion. So when I did this, it kind of increased it a little bit more, so that way I have more defenses. So that's typically the build. And then you have some curse that you would use. Let's see. So flammability. Basically, flammability causes enemies to have negative 29% fire resistance. So basically, this is very helpful because now you can even do more damage. And then there's another one, purifying flame. No, it's not this one. Combustion. It does the minus 10% and it adds more damage. Anyways, this is my build. Hope you guys like it. Please leave a comment if you guys have any questions. Thank you, and I'll see you guys next time.